Before beginning the session, I want to wish you a very happy 75th Independence Day of India. It has been 75 years since we have got independence, and we have grown from a country which was very poor when we got independence to today, where we are thriving in this world. However, till today, the businesses in India are in a situation wherein they are lagging behind the developed countries, wherein we are not able to grow our businesses in a way that we would have liked. No doubt, we have got many startups which are getting unicorn status. No doubt, we have got many businesses which have grown sizably. However, till today, 95% of the Indian businesses, they are failing or they are stagnant. So, to improve the situation, to take these businesses out of their misery, to help them grow their profits, to help them grow their scale, to help them gain sustainability, and help them generate exponential wealth. We are launching today the Quantum Loop Coaching. In Quantum Loop, we are going to help businesses with their growth, with their profitability, and with their sustainability. How we are going to do that? That I'm going to tell you in some time. Besides, the people who are watching today, you will get a chance to win coaching worth 20 lakhs for free. We have not kept the number of people who are going to get this prize. And to get this prize, what you will have to do is you will have to watch this entire video. And in the end, I will tell you how you can win free coaching worth 21 lakh rupees absolutely for free. And we have not, as I've told you, we have not put a cap on this, is because we want to give everybody qualifies a fair chance to get this amazing gift from our side. And as promised today, I'm with you here today with our masterclass on business models. So let's get started with it. See, you might have been into many business programs, and everywhere you go, people would be telling you that you need to find your blue ocean, wherein there is no competition. You will have to find your niche. You will have to find something where you stand out into the crowd so that your business gains maximum attraction from the people. Your business gains maximum business out of whatever product, services, whatever you are dealing in, and you get maximum scale, you get maximum sustainability out of it. But how do you identify that blue ocean? In this regard, before going into your growth, before going into your profitability, before going into your sustainability, what you need to do is to identify the vehicle which you will deploy to take your business to the next level. Business model helps you with that. And how it helps? Let us see. Imagine you were a general during pre-World War One time, and you were looking at a fort up on the hill, and you wanted to conquer that fort. What you will need to conquer that fort is you will need logistics, you will need your soldiers, you will need your guns, artillery, everything. You will need to gather everything together at the base of the hill, and then you will charge upwards. But what if when you reach there, you do not find anybody? Everything gets wasted. Whatever the logistics, whatever the goods, whatever the artillery, whatever the people you deployed, you employed, you have put to the work, it all goes into the wind because there is nobody, there is nothing to conquer on that hill. And in today's world, it might happen that once you reach over there and your enemy sees you, they might fly to the another hill, to the another fort. How it is relevant to the businesses is because is just like that. Most of the businesses, what they do is when they start their business or if they're running their business, what they'll do is they'll observe other people and they'll try to imitate whatever things they are doing, they are employing in their business, and then they will try to bring, do the business same way. When you are doing your business same way as the others, you do not have any edge over other businesses. That is why there is a method which helps you identify your niche, your blue ocean, whatever you call it, right? Wherein you stand alone, wherein people can connect with you. It is part of deep marketing psychology also that we teach people in our quantum loop coaching sessions. But for now, what you need to understand is that this is something that differentiates you from other players who are into the market, right? So let's move on. To create a business model, the most efficient and useful thing is your business model canvas. And your business model canvas is something which helps you understand everything. Let us take the example of a tea stall because it is the simplest business. That is why, first example which I'm taking out is that of tea stall. If you are starting a tea stall, what will be implications of this business model canvas on your business? Say, right hand side is all about customer, your customer segments, your customer relationships, your channels, how you will sell tea, your customer segments, people who are going to office in the morning, they might be your customers, people who come to you after dinner. They might be your customers, people who get tired in between the work. So during the daytime, people who can come, they might be your customers, your customer relationships, how you maintain your relationships with your customers, what are the channels through which you serve tea to your customers. It is also going to be part of your tea store. And your infrastructure, your key partners, people who supply goods to you, person who provides you the tea leaves, sugar, milk, all those are your key partners, your key resources, your infrastructure, whatever you are having, your stoves, your tables, chairs, yeah, right? Everything. And key activities. What are the key activities you are doing in your business? And what is the value that you create? The below portion is all about your finances. So your business model is made out of all these things, whatever are the things which are related to your customers, whatever infrastructure you have, whatever kind of value you are creating, and whatever kind of finances you are having. On the basis of that, you will be able to create your own unique business model. Let us see everything one by one. First of all, we'll go with the customer segments. See, customer segments is something which is sometimes very complicated, right? But I am giving you some basic questionnaire, right? For whom are we creating the value? That is the first thing that you will have to look at. For whom you are creating the value. Next is, who are our most important customers? You will have to ask yourself, who are our most important customers? See, I'll be giving you lots of examples also uh, during this course. So let us understand this. See, customer segments means, for example, you take the business of PayPal, you take the business of Google Pay. They are having multi-sided platforms because they connect both buyers and sellers in financial transactions. You take Amazon, they are also connecting buyers and sellers in financial transactions. So they are essentially having two kind of customers, and both the customers are having different kind of value propositions, right? And sometimes, people will also create new segments into the market. So when Nike started with just do it as their, as their war cry, as their slogan, they initially attracted basketball players. Then they expanded to include people who are fan of football, who are fan of baseball. Sometimes, the segments have all the segments have their different value propositions. Besides, sometimes you might need to diversify also. If you take the example of General Motors, they started the car production with the help of robots initially. But later on, what they found out was those robots were having different functions in different industries too. So what they did was they started selling their robots and technology to other people. And then they started, educating people also. The basic in nutshell is, do you have the bird's eye view as an entrepreneur about whatever the segment, customer segment you are going to deal, and what are the customer segment types? First is mass market. See, mass market means you are making no distinction as to whatever who is the audience of your product, right? Because the value proposition will apply to everybody. Say, if you are selling some DVDs, right now they are extinct. But if you are selling DVDs to somebody, you are targeting everybody, right? If you are painting houses, you are targeting almost everybody. If you are selling even paint, you are almost targeting everybody, right? If somebody is a dry cleaner, that person is targeting almost everybody, male, female, rich, poor, everybody needs dry cleaning, right? The same way iPod was there, iTunes, music, they target almost everybody. So it is a mass market where there is, almost no differentiation uh, between the people. Another thing is your customer segment would be niche market. Niche market is something, wherein you are not targeting everybody. You are targeting some specific kind of people. Some, even in the sports, if you are targeting people who are playing cricket, you are making shoes for them, then it is going to be your niche because you are selling shoes only to the people who are playing cricket, right? Next is segmented market, wherein there can be different value propositions for different customers. Say if you go to bank, mostly nowadays banks have different segments of customers. Regular customers, then there will be prime customers or HNI customers, right? Private banking customers, standard customers. So what they do is, in private banking, the customer has a different set of relationship with bank, and there is somebody specific assigned to that account, so that whenever the customer needs somebody, they can connect with that person, and all their needs are, satisfied at a single place. Then there is diversified business model. The same way, there are sometimes few businesses who are going into the diversified market. Say, if you take ITC, initially they are selling tobacco, then they started into FMCG market. So if you are selling biscuits to somebody, then those people are likely to buy chocolates. Then you move into the chocolate segment. When somebody is buying, biscuits and chocolates from you, then you move into the namkins market. So you are expanding your business, you are diversifying your business, and same goes with the many companies who were initially selling, say, shoes for cricket, then they started selling gloves for cricket, then they started selling pads, paddings for cricket, then they started selling bats, and so on. So it is a diversified customer segment base which they are helping. Multi-sided platform is, you know, wherein you serve two independent set of customers, right? Same way as PayPal, Google, Amazon, even credit card companies, what they are doing is they are serving two people on two sides. They are serving merchants also and people who are using credit card also. Both are being served on same platform, right? They are being served on the same product, but they both are having different stakes. This is how you need to segmentize your customer. What you need to ascertain here is, does your value proposition addresses the needs of both the economic and end user of the customer segment? Once you have, got a fairer idea of your customer segment, then you need to dig deeper. You need to ask yourself, what functions are you trying to help your customers for? Are you trying to complete a task, solve a problem, or fulfill a need? What social needs are you trying to help the customers perform? Are you trying to help them to look good or raise their status or gain additional power? What are the emotional needs that you are trying to help your customers perform? Are you trying to make them feel better about themselves or provide them more security? What are you trying to do? Then you need to assign your customer segments, tasks, problems, and needs according to the significance, critical nature, and frequency. Finally, you try to outline the context of the job to determine if there are any limitations or constraints that might apply. See, once you go through this exercise, you will have a pretty good idea of what your customer segment has to do. It is time to then define the pain points. If you want to refine your customer segment, what you need to do is you need to ask yourself as to what takes too long or what costs too much or requires too much effort in your customer's opinion, which you can resolve. What frustrates them, what annoys them, or gives your customers a headache to do. How are the current solutions underperforming for your customer? For example, if there is a lack of some features or some low performance is there, then are other solutions prone to malfunctions? They are prone to some errors? Or what are the main difficulties or challenges your customers encounter? For example, do they have difficulty in understanding how things actually work or how they can actually get the things done? And what are the negative social consequences would your customer encounter? Over here, the most powerful question is what causes your customers to lose faith, to lose power, lose trust, or even lose status? Are there any financial risks, social risks, or technical risks that your customers are afraid of? Are there any big issues, concerns, or worries that keep your customers awake at night? What are the common mistakes that your customer makes? And finally, what barriers keep your customers from adopting a solution? For example, upfront costs, if they are too high, the customer might be reluctant, right? Or if the learning curve for a product, for a technology is too lengthy, then the customer might be reluctant. Sometimes customers even resist change. And once you do this and you rank your customers' pain points according to the significance and frequency, you will be able to find out the customers gain points and what are the benefits that your customer will receive, what are the expectations your customer might have, what are the desires, or would there be any surprises that you can add on to that, what savings you will be able to offer these customer segments in terms of time, money, effort that would make your customers happy, what outcomes in terms of quantity or quality your customers can expect from you, what would go beyond their expectations. That is the main question, right? What current features, performance, and quality items that will delight your customer, what would make your customers job or life easy? For example, there might be a flatter learning curve in terms of using some machinery or using some technology. You can provide them with more options, more services, or lower cost of ownership, right? What makes the life of your customers easier? That is the main point. And what would make your customers look better in the eyes of others, increase their power, raise their status, right? Is your customer looking for a better design? Is your customer looking for some guarantees, specific features, or even more features, right? Does your customer dream of big achievements or being relieved from burdens that they are having right today? And how does your customer measure success? For example, do they measure success in terms of time? Do they measure the success of your product, service, or whatever you are offering in terms of cost or in terms of performance? Finally, what would increase the likelihood that the customer would adopt to the new solution? For example, would it lower risk? Would it lower costs? Would it be a better investment? What about better quality, better performance? Once you do this exercise, you are ready to go to the next part of our business model canvas, and that part is value proposition. What values do we deliver to our customer? See, what is a value proposition? Value proposition is nothing but a collection of products, services, that your business offers to meet the needs of the customers that help it to differentiate you from your competitors. For example, uh, there are several manufacturers of cricket shoes, right? However, the cricketers need the kind of shoes that fit tightly, that put good ankle support, and some companies are doing that. For basketball players, the same thing Nike is doing. And they have even designed the shoes with the small air chambers, pumps built into the design of the shoe, right? And they have created a unique value proposition for the customer segment. So, what values do we deliver to our customer, and which one of our customers' problems are we trying to solve? And what products and services are we offering to our customer segment? See, value proposition may be quantitative in nature. It might be such as you are offering things at lower price than your competition, or your product or services work at a higher efficiency, or it is qualitative. It might be qualitative in nature, like providing better customer experience, better customer service, better outcome, right? And there are few value propositions that might differentiate you from others. As we have discussed, better performance. Yes, is the case. You know, you might see new phones, new cars. They'll always say that new car is delivering better performance than the old version of car. New cell phone is having better performance than the older one. And there might be ability to customize solution to their specific needs. It can be seen into the softwares, CRMs, right? Or there can be improved usability or better design, say vacuum cleaners, or there are many things, right? You can do customization, say 3D printers, right? 3D printers instead of normal things that you get, 3D printers are allowing you to optimize your final product. Many products are there that allow users to customize final product, and your product might get the job done for them. If a person, buys a bungalow and you include landscaping. So there are many value proposition types. You might be offering something new, and it may be new product, new service that nobody else is offering. Generally, it is your innovation that you have innovated something, and maybe it is something proprietary. Something new is not always possible. So it can be performance, right? Generally, PC manufacturers or laptop manufacturers do this. They create a new model faster and more powerful, and it is happening almost every 3 to 6 months. And your previous version gets obsolete. So what you do is you upgrade. Same happens with the car. Every year, new version of the car comes. It is more powerful, right? It is a little bit more powerful than your previous version. It is a little bit more petrol efficient, fuel efficient, gives you better mileage, customization, right? Design. You might change the product design to make it more comfortable. Then there can be brand status. Rolls Royce, you know, gives you more status. It is a better brand. Mercedes, more status, better brand. Then there can be price. You can look at the economy airlines. Right? In India, there are many now. USA, there was Southwest. You can go to Reliance superstores or any superstores, right? They're offering things at very low price. Their all activities are designed around that, so that customer gets everything for a very low price. Or there can be cost reduction. Say in case of cloud storage, your costs are reduced, very much. They are charging a bit of subscription fee, but in the process, customer doesn't have to incur huge cost. There might be risk reduction. Right? If you are offering any kind of guarantee, and guarantee is a risk reduction. You can be giving accessibility. Say we have got Mahindra Holidays, right? What they are offering is you cannot afford to have a holiday vacation home in every city. So what they do is they provide you with a timeshare. You can move, or you can visit any of their facilities at any time, and you will always find a stay for yourself. Then convenience, usability, right? iPad, iPhone, and even Kindle. So how do you define your value proposition is based on few things. You might offer something which is tangible. You are manufacturer, you offer goods, you offer services which are delivered by face. You might be offering something virtual, you might be offering something people pay and they can download. You are selling something online, intangible things, right? Intangible value proposition can be there. Intangible value proposition is guarantee. If you are giving some quality assurance, if you are giving some guarantee, or if you have some copyright, it is intangible. Financial is investment or other financial services that you can provide. Also, you will have to consider the pains and gains of the customer. What you can do is remove negative social consequences such as loss of faith, power, trust, eliminate your customers' financial, social, and technical risk, fears, help your customer with big issues, diminish their concerns, or eliminate some of their worries so that they can sleep better at night, help them eliminate mistakes, reduce errors, provide them to remove barriers which are keeping your customers from adopting the new you are offering. And you can use this when you provide some value. You need to ask yourself that whatever the value proposition you are providing to your product or service, does it produce saving in terms of time, money, and effort for your customer? Does it eliminate customers' frustrations, annoyance, or things that give them for a headache? Are you providing some new features, providing some better performance or quality that fixes underperforming solutions that are in existence right now? Or might be able to help customers with some big issues, or might be diminishing their concerns or eliminating some of their worries so that your customer can sleep better at night. And what are the gains that your product or service is providing? Are you creating savings in terms of time, money, effort? Are you producing outcomes that your customers expect, or you are going beyond their expectations in terms of quality, quantity, or your product or service is meeting or it is outperforming the current solutions that delight your customers in terms of features, even specific features, performance, quality, right? Or flatter learning curves, whatever we have discussed while determining customer segments, the same thing remains true for customer gains. Now we are going to move to the third portion, and that is the channel. Through which channels do our customers want to be reached to us? That is the first thing that you need to answer. How are we reaching them, and which one works best, and which channels are the most cost efficient? Right now, we are talking here, whatever we are talking here is about marketing and distribution channels. Right, it is the way through which you are delivering your products and services to your customers. And with respect to the business model canvas, there are 5 practices. First thing, how will you raise the awareness about the company and its products or services? You can advertise on TV, you can go to trade shows, you can engage on social media. Next thing is, how will you help your customers evaluate the organization's complete value proposition? For example, you might be educating your customers or third parties about your offering. See, I'm educating you about the business model and importance of a business model so that you can implement it and you can take your business to the next level. Same way, do you need to educate your customers, right? How will you allow your customers to purchase specific products or services? For example, you will sell it directly to your customers, or you will sell it through website, or you will create a storefront, or will it be indirect channel wherein you will involve some distributors, dealers, retailers, and that chain then will deliver the goods or services to customers? How will you deliver your value proposition to your customer, right? And how will you provide post purchase customer support? Are you offering any guarantee? Are you offering some warranty? Or are you going to provide some technical support to your customers? That is also what you will have to consider in terms of identifying the channels that you will use. You also need to understand that if you can integrate these channels with others, you have, which you are already having, which you have already established, or which the industry has established, then you can assess which one will work best, and identify which ones are the most cost efficient for you to implement. And what are the types of channel? Owned channel, the channel which you own, or you can partner with somebody. The next thing that we are going to discuss on business model canvas is your customer relationship. What type of relationships do our customers expect us to establish and maintain with them? Which ones have we already established, and how costly are this? These are the main questions you will have to ask when it comes to your customer relationships. See, we are talking the ways that you will interact with each customer segment. See, what type of relationship your customer segments expect. It is going to depend on that, right? Do your customer segments demand some kind of technical assistance or hand holding during the sales process, such as face-to-face interaction with you or your team, right? The same way, say if you are buying a house, you will have a face-to-face interaction. When you buy a car, you will have face-to-face interaction. Then, will a person on a phone be able to answer the questions? That perhaps some customer segments, they will expect automated systems such as Amazon, where you go, you buy, and your website remembers your past orders, it recommends you, right? Or you go to Dell's website to customize and build no new computer or laptop for you. Perhaps your customer segments, they expect self-service relationships such as simple e-commerce site or a supermarket style. Collectively, when it comes to identifying, you'll have to understand which are the relationships that you already have established, and how can you integrate it with rest of your business model, and what is the cost to implement and maintain them, right? So what are the customer relationship types? First is personal assistance. If you are going to buy clothes, if you are going to buy a car, right? What you will do is you will rely on a salesperson. The salesperson will come to you. He or she, they will explain, they will show you the things, they will explain the benefits, they will show the features of the product, right? And usually they are called salespeople, saleswoman, salesman, right? And they will not be having long-term connection with you. They will be having just transactional connection with you. Once they sell you something, then their job is over. They are not connected with you. Then dedicated personal assistants. See, if you are a private banking customer, you will be allocated one private banker or one preferred banker, right? So one specific and dedicated banker will be assigned to you, and that person will be familiar with you, because that the same person will be interacting with you over and over again, and you will flourish a relationship. It can be self-service model. You go to a supermarket, right? You pick up whatever you want, and then you get out of, and you are left on your own. You go there, you purchase whatever you want to purchase, you pay, and then you come back. Then there are automated services like Amazon. You go onto their website or application, all right? On the basis of your buying behaviors, the app recommends you some things, right? You go there, you order something, it reaches to your house. LinkedIn, Facebook, automated services, nothing personalized, right? Then there can be communities. Communities is something wherein if you have any problem, if you want to know something, you go to community. There are many softwares which if you purchase those softwares, and if you have some issues, you go to communities, you search from the database of answers, or if it is not there, you type your answer, some expert will give you answer. Then comes the co-creation. All the social media sites, they are a good example of co-creation. You take YouTube, right? Because it is, YouTube has content, but it is the content created by its user base, right? If you go on Amazon.com and you write a review, you are writing a review for Amazon. So it is the basis of co-creation. This concludes most of our right part, and the one thing remains is the revenue streams. And here the question is, for what value our customers are willing to pay? For what do they currently pay? How are they currently paying? How much does each revenue contribute to your all revenues, right? See, when you are looking to define pricing, there are many things. You might be offering discount prices if your customer is buying in bulk. You might be offering variable pricing based on the customer segment. Say, some companies, they offer discounts to senior citizens, to army personnel, right? So are you offering variable prices on the basis of customer segment? Perhaps your revenue stream may come through negotiated pricing, wherein every customer is negotiating. It usually happens when you go to buy used cars, or there might be performance driven pricing, right? If you are a builder and you have hired a commission agent to sell your properties, so their commission will be based on the portfolio value, whatever they sell, right? Or there can be real-time market pricing, which is now you can see on commodity, crude. See, when it comes to revenue, you can charge, people in many terms, because it is not easy to part people from their money. You can charge in terms of usage fee, subscription fee, royalties, rentals, leasing, licensing fee, financing fee, brokerage, advertising fee. But you will have to, all in all, you will have to consider this four questions, right? For what value your customers are willing to pay, for what do they currently pay, how are they currently paying, and how much does each revenue stream contribute to your overall business. This you will have to understand. And one thing that I always say, that mostly what people do is they are going on transactional relationships in terms of revenue generation, wherein customer comes, you sell them something, they go, you forget them, they forget you. But it is the relational revenue that pays you more, because in that model, the customer comes to you again and again. So it is a recurring stream of revenue, ongoing payments you get, right? So what are the types of revenue streams? First is asset sale. Asset sale is, where someone sells you ownership of some physical asset. You buy a car, you buy furniture, you buy a house, and this is usually, one-time transaction. Mostly, if you buy a house, you won't be buying another house for next 15-20 years. Asset sale is kind of transactional sale. Next is usage fees. Usage fee is, based on the usage. When you book a hotel for one day, you pay rent for one day. You pay for 5 days, 5 nights, whatever they charge on, you might pay for 5 days. So more you use, the more you pay, right? Telephone bills, right? The more you use, the more you pay. Next is subscription fees. Subscription fee is here you are getting revenue by continuing to provide access to a service, right? Such as gyms, fitness centers, right? Netflix, Amazon Prime, Audible, right? This all are charging subscription fee. With subscription fees, generally users get unlimited access to the service during the subscription period. So it is fixed for the period, right? Next is lending, renting, or leasing. Over here, you are lending, renting, or leasing right of easement or right of usage for a certain period of time. Next, your revenue is generated by licensing. Customer, you give your customers permission to use your protected intellectual property, or you can give people permission to use some patents, you get the licensing, right? Brokerage revenue is generated by an intermediary, right? Stock brokers, real estate brokers, what they get is brokerage for facilitating the transaction, right? Next is advertising. This is the last revenue stream wherein revenue is generated from the fees, wherein you are providing their message to your customers. See, pricing, when it comes to pricing, whatever model you take, there are two principal forms. There can be either fixed pricing or the dynamic pricing. Fixed pricing, what does fixed pricing include? Fixed pricing includes your list price. If you go to restaurant, in the menu, the items are listed, and on the right side you will have price. Then the fixed pricing may be product features dependent. Whatever the features are there, you get the same kind of pricing, right? If you go to cruise, if you book during the summertime, prices are high. Winter off season, oh, prices are low. Then customer segment dependent prices can be fixed prices. As I told you that senior citizens, army people, some businesses are giving discounts. And fixed prices can be value dependent or volume dependent also. Say if you are charging say 400 rupees to print 500 business cards, for 600 rupees you can get 500 business cards. And dynamic pricing, it is usually negotiated pricing. When you negotiate the price, it is your negotiation skill, or it can be yield management, or it can be real-time market, say stock market, commodity market, or it can be an auction also. So this is how the pricing works. Next, what we are going to discuss is key resources. When it comes to key resources, what key resources do our value proposition require? That is the first and the foremost question. See, for producing a product or for providing a service, you need access to physical resources, intellectual resources, human resources, and financial resources. Depending upon the value proposition defined in your business model canvas, you will require one or more of these resources. See, for a manufacturing company, they require physical resources in terms of machine, or financial resources they require to buy raw materials, right? And they carry inventory. They invest money, right? And if you are providing, say, some design services, then you require intellectual and human resources. Physical resources are your buildings, vehicles, machinery, uh, your sales fronts, your distribution network. And intellectual resources are your brand, your proprietary knowledge, your patents, copyrights, your partnerships, even your customer database. See, it is your intellectual resource. Some companies, they rely more on proprietary knowledge, right? Patents, copyrights, they expire, but proprietary, never. Even, enterprises need human resources. Businesses are even more dependent on financial resources, right? So this is the most important aspect of your business. Next, we are going to discuss the key activities. What are the key activities do our value proposition require? Or what are our distribution channels? What are our customer relationships? What are our revenue streams, right? And what are the categories? See, there are many business activities. You take operation, marketing, production, problem solving, administration, and there are some subsystems. There are some core activities. There are support of activities. There are coordination activities. There are strategic activities, core activities. These are related directly to the generation of the output. Support activities, they support the production of the output. Coordination activities, they coordinate, develop, and integrate activities, right? And strategic activities are the activities which link outside environment, necessary degree of the alignment. So, you will have to consider these things. What are the key activities do our value proposition require? What are the key activities do our distribution channel requires? What are the key activities do your customer relationship require, right? Key activities, are always ongoing, and they are focused on creating value for your shareholders. whatever are your shareholders, whatever are your stakeholders. And as we have discussed, these are the categories: production, problem solving, platform, network. Next is we are going to discuss about the key partners. See, most of the companies, what they are is they are a link in a much larger value chain. Mostly what you will be doing is you will be thinking about customers as the end users. But mostly what happens is your product is part of value chain somewhere. And there is a distinction between if you call somebody a supplier or your company's true partner. Supplier is somebody that provides you a needed product or a service, right? Most of times these people are commodity based providers, and it is one way, right? And partners, your actual key partners are somebody who are key upstream suppliers or downstream customers that are engaged with. There are some people there, these key partners are some who mitigate your risk. And what are the type of partnerships? You can form strategic alliances with the people who are into the other industries. Competition, you can cooperate with your competitors, joint ventures, and as I told you, it is buyer-supplier relationships. The last part of your business model canvas is your cost structure. See, it is closely related with your value proposition. At its highest level, cost structures are either cost or they are value focused. What are the most important costs inherent in our business, and which key resources and activities are most expensive? Is our business more cost driven or it is more value driven? This is the main distinction. Cost driven structures are focused on keeping the costs or expenses down. Value driven structures are focused on providing more value or more revenue. And this they do by offering premium services, premium product. There are many companies, right, that embrace this cost driven structure. They use automation, they use outsourcing, and this often results into the competitive pricing. Operational excellence is often at the core of the business model of cost structure. Say if you take superstores, you take example of McDonald's, Domino's, right? Because margins are small, this business, they will have to focus more on reducing cost. And on the other hand, there are companies, there are which are having a value driven structure. They use customer intimacy, they interact more with the customer, they provide they use high end components to create premium products. Customers which buy these value-driven products and services are less price conscious, and they value quality, they value performance, they value convenience over everything. You take example of Rolex, Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, right? These companies have more value-driven structure. So when considering cost structure, you should consider what are the most important costs that need your most attention, which are less impact on your quality of your product or service. You will have to also consider key resources and key activities which are more expensive. Whether you benefit from moving up or down them, on your value chain. You will have to take these things in consideration also, right? So when you deploy everything, all these answers on your business model canvas, it looks like, and whatever is there within the business model canvas is something which is in your control. But as you know, business is more so unpredictable. And why it is unpredictable? Because it is affected by external forces also. And which are these external forces? Let me tell you. Market forces. First environment driven forces is market force. What is market force? Your customer base, your customer segment is always evolving. The needs are evolving. So what you will have to do is you will have to keep yourself in alignment with whatever the way your customer segment is evolving. When you are looking at market forces, you should try asking, can I break down the customer segment further using demographic, psychographic data, B2B, B2C? Are there some segments that are more aligned with your business? You will have to see. Do they have greater potential for more profit margins? You will have to look at your various customer segments, B2B, B2C, B2A, and you will have to look at the demographic, psychographic, so that your product is in better alignment, your service is in better alignment. Next is key trends. What are the key trends? Not even in your industry. What are the key trends which are happening outside your industry also? Say, when the internet came, nobody thought that it is going to change the way people, live, they do their business, they connect with each other. Now it is happening. Key trends might come from, other industries also. When McDonald's, they started their outlets at the time, the car industry was booming. So they created their outlets in such a way that, people who were inside the car, they can get the faster service. They saw something which was happening into some other industry. You will have to identify key trends. What are the major technological trends which are inside or outside your market, which are happening, which are disruptive in nature? You will have to always look at those things. There might be some technologies which might be opportunity for you, which might be threats for you, or there might be some emerging peripheral threats. There might be some regulatory trends, some regulations, they influence the market. There are some social cultural trends, some demographic, psychographic, wealth distribution, or whether people are having enough disposable or discretionary income. Right? That is also going to influence the key trends. Your customer base type, whether they are from the metro cities, cat A cities, villages, it is going to also play your buyer behaviors. Next is industry force. What is happening within your industry? What is happening outside your industry? Just like the key forces, the industry forces are also very, very critical. Your key partners, whether they will stick with you or not, it is going to impact your competitors. Who are your competitors? Who are the dominant players? What are their competitive advantages? What is your competitive advantage? What are the customer segments your competitors are focused on? Right? What is the cost structure of your competitors? What are the new entrants, and how the new entrants are changing the value chain? They are expanding value chain. How they are doing business differently, right? And what is the entry barrier in your industry? What are the substitutes of your product? That is also going to impact your industry and industry force. The last force is macroeconomic forces. Macroeconomy forces is whatever is happening in the world, whatever is happening in entire nation, right? Current events and what is happening in and around that. Say, recent Russia-Ukraine war, we saw the crude prices suddenly shot up. People started crying about gas prices all over the world, and people were afraid of shortage of wheat. Suddenly wheat prices shot up. So these are the macroeconomic factors. It is dependent upon the events which are happening around you. Say, if you are living in a city and a bridge is being built, so that the two parts of the city are better connected. So now across the river, previously the prices were low. Now the prices suddenly start increasing because there is better connectivity, there is better infrastructure. So not only these big events, but the small changes in your locality, they might also affect your business. Changing lending practices, these are macroeconomic forces, these are market conditions. Whether economy is boom phase, recession, inflation, deflation, these are the outside forces. Yeah, right. And how they are going to affect your business model. What is happening in global, local economy, capital markets, how they are working right now. The situation is such that startups are finding it very hard to get the funds, and some major players, they are even withdrawing the funds, right? So if seed capital is not available and cost of funds, if it is increasing, it is hard to buy commodity. What is the situation of commodities? What is the situation in terms of your raw material? What is the situation in terms of the raw material from which your raw material is procured? right? Labor, what is the, labor market situation, economic infrastructure, transportation, tax rates, public services, quality of life. See, all these things, these are going to impact your business from outside. See, this concludes our discussion on business model canvas. And when you do all these exercises, you will be able to generate, very unique ideas for your business model. Because this model is designed in such a way that you need not be, a huge, great genius or creative thinker, but you and your team can design a business model which is very much beneficial for you. If you have different business units, you can gather people. Age doesn't matter, expertise doesn't matter, seniority doesn't matter, background doesn't matter, culture, values doesn't matter. See, your business model should be resource driven, offer driven, customer driven, and finance driven. These are the only four basic conditions of creating a great business model. And if you can create a good business model out of this, and it is going to help you. Now, let me show you a glimpse of the quantum loop. This is how the structure of quantum loop that we have designed, right? And for our price, now for our price, see, if you have come to this point, it means that you have learned entire business model canvas process, and I hope, I wish that you will implement it. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to like, and in the comments, I want you to write your learnings. And I'll be selecting people who have put in the best learnings into the comments, whatever you have learned. Okay, on the basis of those, we'll be selecting people who will get coaching worth 21 lakhs free. So there are no strings attached. There are no terms, conditions, right? Point is, whatever you are writing into the comment section must come from whatever you have learned from this master class. That is the only condition. Let me show you once again a glimpse of quantum loop. See, there are many things which are going to be part of quantum loop, and we are going to launch a full day training on quantum loop itself. So what I'll be doing is we'll be putting a link of a Google form into description above, below, wherever my team puts it. What I want you to do is I want you to fill in that Google form so that we'll have your data ready and we'll have your contact details with us, and so that we'll be able to connect with you, and we'll be informing you via email, WhatsApp, whatever means that you have given to us. And that way you will be the people. If you are filling the Google form, you know you will get the one full day's training on quantum loop. And what is quantum loop? Let me tell you. Quantum loop means whatever stage your revenues are today. Say if your sales is 100 rupees, you might be making profit of 5 rupees. It is industry standard. How to convert those 5 rupees into 100 rupees profit into next 5 years? That is what we are going to help businesses with. And this is for the first time. It is going to happen in India, and we have done it. We have got proof of concept with one of the largest companies in the world, which is in India, with that with which we have worked, and we have taken that company to that level. So everything we are going to discuss that into our full day uh, live coaching over Zoom, which is going to happen. So if you want to be the part of that, Please fill out the Google form so that our team can reach you whenever that masterclass, not masterclass, but whenever that full day's training is going to happen, so that you do not miss out. Till then, I'm Kumar Ruparelia. I will see you again.